ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय आर्याय नमः। कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुवरं श्रीरूपानुग्रहं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुवरं श्रीरूपानुग्रहं श्री गुरु चरण वंदे रमण बेस्थाय भूतले रूपानुग भक्ति रक्षक पार्वती नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानंद रूपिणे गौर-शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुग भक्ते। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास गौर भक्तवृंद जय रूप सनातन भक्तविनाश श्री जीव पार्वती। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। First of all, I offer my Sastanga Lord pranams at the lotus feet of spiritual masters. Deploy Srimad Bhaktivedanta Sri Narayana Sai Maharaj Sri Gurudev. Deploy Srimad Bhaktivedanta Sri Bhakti Sai Maharaj Sri Gurudev. The entire Rupananga Hare Gurumata, to our guardians, to all Vaishnava and Vaishnavis, and especially Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, whose most auspicious Avirbhav Tithi we are observing today. So, just recently during the morning, this Nitai Prabhu, he was telling me that his Guru Maharaj, the Bhakti-Keval Laudari Maharaj, he said that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the Mool Purush. This is Gaudiya Vaishnava line. Means, Gaudiya Vaishnava line in and itself has stemmed, has originated, especially in recent times, from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If it wasn't for this great Vaishnava, near and dear associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, none of us would have been in this line, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. None of us. Because we hear that after Chandravati Thakur, Gaudiya Vidyabhushan Prabhu, there was a dark age of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. There was like so many deviant sects, like Sakibeki, Yaul, Churadhari, Nadaneri, so many. That time there were 30. And then during Param Buddha's time, they were getting 39. And now no one even knows how many are present. Unlimited number of sects, deviant sects. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is Bhakti Bhagirath. Bhakti Bhagirathi he is. What did he do? Bhagirath Maharaj, he brought the Ganga from the spiritual world. And what did he do? Even to this day, Ganga Devi is purifying everyone, delivering everyone. Anyone who bathes in the Ganga. Or to speak of it, even those who have left their bodies, if their ashes are placed in the Ganga, then they are dead. Because they still have some subtle connection with their material bodies. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what did he do? He is Bhakti Bhagirathi. What did he do? He brought this flow of pure Bhakti from Golok Vrindavan, from the lotus feet of Sri Radha Krishna. He brought this flow of pure Bhakti from their lotus feet and he inundated the entire world with this pure Braj Bhakti Ras. This is why we see that even the Babajis of Radhapur, everyone, they are also honoring so much. Even they sing all these kirtans. Because we see his kirtans that divided into so many wonderful books like Kalyan, Kalpataru, Geetmala, Geetavali, Sharanagati, Yamun, Bhavavali. And this way for every particular jiva, according to his own qualification, he has different kirtans. Every jiva. Because we see not every jiva is qualified for this pure prema ras. Jiva has to gradually be purified and elevated. Therefore, for every jiva, like Yamun Bhavavali is for those jivas in Dasyas. And then we see Sharanagati. Sharanagati is shown the doorway to Bhakti. How to enter into Bhakti. Like this Anukul Jasa Sankalpa, Pratakul Jasa Vivarjana. This one, like the shloka, we see the 6 limbs of devotion, accepting that which is favorable, rejecting that which is unfavorable, accepting Krishna as one's own protector and nourisher, and thinking of him as one's essence of one's life. Everything he has shown kirtans. And then he has even shown kirtans regarding the highest Madhurya Bhava of Radha and Krishna. Like we see all these kirtans we sing during Kartik. Vishabhanu Sutta, Alya Dasi Kori, Ramani Shiromani, then so many Dekite, Purigo Varkave, Vijastula Parichaya. All these kirtans that we sing, Shri Krishna Vidhe Radhikara Dasha Amrita Sahita Nari. And all these kirtans. And we see not just Radha and Krishna, beginning from Shri Guru, he has sung Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya, Gurudev Boro Kripa Kori, Gurudev Kabe Mor Sayyidi Nahabe, Gurudev Kabe Tava Karuna Prakashe. And for Vaishnava Tattva, he has sung Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Kabe Mohi Vaishnava Chini Bo Hari Hari, Vimala Vaishnava Rati Upajibe Vasana Hari Vekshni. Then Kripa Karuna Vaishnava Thakur, Sambandha Janiya Bajide Bajide Abhimana Avadu. And then even for Nityananda Prabhu, he has sung Borom Sukher Kamor Gai. So many for Mahaprabhu, so many kirtans. Kabe Mor, Kabe Habe Kashamor, Kabe Mor Sayyidi Nahabe. This way is unlimited. All the kirtans he has sung for Radha and Krishna, for Nam Tattva. All the shlokas of Namastakam is written one word, one kirtan. All the shlokas of Upadeshamriti is written one kirtan. All the shlokas of Manasiksha is written one kirtan. All the shlokas of Sikshastakam is written one kirtan. And this way we see we are so much indebted to this great Vaishnava. Every aspect of our devotional lives, we see is completely dependent on what he has given. Beginning from Mangalarati, Madhyan Bhogarati, even the Arati we sing before Madhyan Bhogarati. This Bhajo Bhakata Vatsala Gaura Hari, this one again we offer. Sandhya Arati, everything, so much indebted to this great Vaishnava. Therefore we see even Gurudev, he would say that whatever you are seeing in me is the mercy of Jayavadharma, he said. He said, because I have served Jayavadharma my entire life, he has said. My whole life, I have not read Jayavadharma less than 108 times, he has said. Means unlimited times Gurudev has read. We know, when Gurudev, he asked Param Gurudev, that how can I translate this Jayavadharma like in the best possible way. Param Gurudev told Gurudev, you pray to Bhактивинода Tхакур. He will answer all your questions. He will pray to him directly, you surrender yourself onto his lotus feet, and he will show you the way. And now we see Jayavadharma everywhere, it's being read, this great book, Jayavadharma. And so we see so many wonderful things Bhактивинода Tхакур has given us. Like if we see in this Bhagavad Patrika, we see the first two books that Gurudev ever translated of Bhактивинода Tхакур were Bhakti Tattva Vivek and Vaishnava Siddhanta Mala. These are the first two books that he translated, even before Jayavadharma. Like Jayavadharma, Gurudev was translating in serial installments. It's like one chapter after another chapter, he was publishing them gradually. He started off with Jayavadharma, but these two books he immediately finished. Because they're so essential for us. This Bhakti Tattva Vivek and Vaishnava Siddhanta Mala. Like Bhakti Tattva Vivek, we see it consists of 4 essays which pertain to pure devotional service. Because Bhактивиноda Thakur has said in that book that without knowing what pure bhakti is, people will be cheated. They will be cheated by an imitational form of bhakti. And even those who claim to be bhaktas, actually they will be teaching Mayavad. And this is even more dangerous. And he has shown what is bhakti. Like he said, well, cultivating bhakti should consider 2 aspects. Pratibimba, reflection, and chaya, shadow. So there's Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas and Chaya Bhakti Abhas. So Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas, it has 3 types. There is, in Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas, there is Nirvishesh, Gyan Avrit Bhakti Abhas. Then there is Mahirmukh Karma Avrit Bhakti Abhas. And there is Viparit Vastu Bhakti Buddhi Janit Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has gone into so much detail. His Rupanuga Bharayate, the greatest of Rupanuga Vaishnavas, and he's quoted he has quoted so many shlokas of Rupa Goswami when describing all these things. It is so important for us to know what is shadow, reflection, else we think what we're doing is bhakti, but which is not really bhakti, it's something else. Like he has said, what is this Nirvishesh Jnanavrit Bhakti Abhas, Pratibimba Bhakti Abhas? Here we see the Nirvisheshvadis, why do they practice bhakti? Because they know that Gyan in itself will never give the fruit, will never give siddhi, perfection. Therefore they take shelter of bhakti, so that they can have perfection of their Gyan. And sometimes they're weeping also. Like we see in Kashi, there was one sannyasi, he was weeping, rolling on the ground. Why? Not because of how. He was weeping and rolling on the ground because he was thinking, oh, Krishna is so merciful that by practicing bhakti I can achieve Nirvishesh Gyan. And all my material desires can be fulfilled. Because Nirvishesh Gyan is a Falgu Vairagya. Like this Falgu river which goes in Bihar, It's covered by sand, but if you place your hand deep within, you can see the flow of the river, you can feel it. Similarly, they have so many material desires within their heart. So this is Nirvishesh Jnana. This is Nirvishesh Jnana with Pratikrim Bhakti Avas. Then he has said, what is Bahirmukh Karma with Bhakti Avas? Means that the smarter koshas, the materialistic workers, they think, oh, Bhakti is just like any mundane activity. It's like Namaparad actually. They say, oh, follow your Nitya Karma, like your Sandhya Vandan, you chant all the mantras 3 times a day, you follow magnetic karma, this Varnashram karma. You do all these things, then this is the perfection of life. But still even they know that such karma cannot be perfection. Therefore they take shelter of Bhakti. So this is Bahirmukh Karma with Bhakti Avas. That Bahirmukh conditions also reverse to service of Krishna, but they are bound to accept Bhakti. Because without Bhakti, how will their karma bear perfection? And then there's Vastu Viparit, Bhakti Buddhi Jarit, Pratibimba Bhakti Avas. Means what you're doing is actually completely opposed to Bhakti. But still you think there is Bhakti. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is given the example of the Panchaupasakas. Means those who worship the 5 different gods. Those who worship Vishnu, Shiva, Ganesh, Surya, Durga. All of them, they're worshipping their respective gods according to their own inclinations and for the fulfillment of their own material desires. But they think this is pure Bhakti. And even he said these Vaishnavas, Panchapasak Vaishnavas, even they are not pure devotees. Because even they are worshipping Vishnu to ultimately merge into it. Or only for the fulfillment of their material desires. So how can this possibly be Bhakti? And he has also said there is Ishwar Pranidhan. Means the yogis want to merge into Ishwar, Paramatma. And they think this is pure Bhakti. So this is completely Viparit. Opposed. Vastu Viparit, but Bhakti Buddhi Jalit. But this intelligence to engage in such opposed activities, it stems from that conception of Bhakti Buddhi. That oh, this is Bhakti. But completely opposed to Bhakti. Therefore he said that Pratibimba Bhakti Avas is actually an offense, he said. And then there's Chaya Bhakti Avas, which is not offensive, but which is incomplete. But still Chaya Bhakti Avas, if one sincerely follows it, he can become a pure devotee. And again he has divided Chaya Bhakti Avas into 2, where he said Sabhav, Sarup Sabhav, where he says Sarup Gyan Abhav Janit Chaya Bhakti Avas. Means one who hasn't realized his Sarup. Even he has accepted Diksha, he has accepted Harinam, and he's chanting, but he doesn't know what his Sarup is. He doesn't know which rasa he is serving Krishna. Sarup Gyan Abhav, Janit Bhakti Avas. But still, if he is sincere, he gradually goes on cultivating these different processes of devotion more and more, and ultimately he will achieve pure devotional service. Sarup Gyan Bhakti Janit Bhakti Avas. And then he has explained the second type of Chaya Bhakti Avas. He has said that Bhakti Uddipak, Vastu Shakti Janit, Chaya Bhakti Avas. There is said Bhakti Uddipak, Vastu Shakti Janit means those things or that paraphernalia related to Bhakti, like serving Tulsi Devi, observing Ekadashi, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, all these things, serving the Dham, taking the dust of the Vaishnavas, serving Mahaprasad, especially the Mahaprasad of the Vaishnavas, serving Ganga Devi. In this way, if you observe all these things, which are actually Bhakti Uddipak, which are actually stimulants for the cultivation of Bhakti, then that is also Bhakti Avas. Like one, accidentally he waters Tulsi, he does Parikrama of Tulsi Devi, accidentally he touches the dust of the Dham, comes, visits the Dham, accidentally he sees Vaishnavas, accidentally he observes Ekadashi. Like Prahlad Maharaj in his previous life, he was separated from this one lady who he loved so much. There was a prostitute who loved him so much. And this prostitute left him when he ran out of money. The whole night he went to one temple and he fasted the whole night, weeping in separation. And she was also weeping in separation from him. And that day happened to be Narsingha Chaturdashi. And because they observed fasting the whole night, that person became Prahlad his next life, and that lady became his wife the next life. So he said, this is Bhakti Uddipak, Vastu Shakti Janit Bhakti Avas. He said, this is Chaya Bhakti Avas. So he's described all these different stages of devotion. And then he has also said, what are the symptoms of pure devotion? He has explained there in Bhakti Tattva way. There is said the 6 symptoms are, like he says, when the Bhakti creeper gradually grows, 6 leaves are seen. First is Kleshagni. There is said all the different miseries to the living, which afflict the living entity because of sin, kut, and because of avidya, and because of all these things, they go away. Because the Mayavadis say that by practicing Nirvisheshya, your aprarabdha karma will go away, but your prarabdha karma, that will stay, that you have to experience. Means your future karma will go away, but your present karma you have to suffer. But Rupa Goswami has said, what to speak of your prarabdha, even what to speak of your aprarabdha, even your prarabdha karma will go away. It means the karma that you're supposed to experience in this present life, even that will go away. And even beach, those sinful desires which are like in a seed-like form, they will go away. And even cooked, those desires which are gradually going to become sinful, they will also go away. And even avidya, ignorance, discovering the jiva since time immemorial, that will go away. This is kleshagni. And then there is shubhada, means the life of a devotee will become completely auspicious. We see auspiciousness is actually synonymous with happiness. If one is happy, his life is considered to be auspicious. And even this happiness is of so many different types. Bhактivinoda Thakur has described. There's Vishai, Vaishik, Vishai Sukh, means the happiness obtained by enjoying the objects of the senses. Then there is Nirvishesh Sukh, means the happiness derived from impersonal knowledge. And then there's Aishwarya Sukh, happiness derived from serving Krishna as Narayan. But ultimately the devotees, they will relish this Prema Sukh, Premananda Sukh. Means this happiness derived from loving devotional service on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. This is Shubhada. And then there's Moksha Lagutakrit. He has explained everything there. Moksha Lagutakrit means even the desire for liberation will become completely insignificant. Liberation itself will want to serve that devotee, Mukti Devi. And then this way there is Sudurlama, means the rarely achieved pure bhakti, which is never achieved by anyone, that Krishna he will bestow. And then there is Sandrananda Visheshatma, means this Samvit and Halladini, they combine on the platform of Sandini, and this ray of praying, it is transmitted from the heart of the pure devotee into the heart of the sadhak. And then the Sri Krishna Akarshanicha, means that devotee, by the power of his pure devotional service, he will attract Sri Krishna himself. And they say, these 6 leaves gradually unfold. So all these things he has explained in that book. Anyone who reads this Bhakti Tattva Ved, he is sure to become a pure devotee, they say. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur is clearly defined what is what is not, everything. And this other book is in Vaishnava Siddhanta Mala. If you see, Vaishnava Siddhanta Mala is actually based on Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu's Prameya Ratnavali. Baladev Vidyabhushan Prabhu, when he was writing Govinda Bhashya, he wrote Prameya Ratnavali. Means he established 9 forms of evidence. What are that? What are they? The first Praman, his evidence is what? Is Sri Hari is the supreme absolute truth. There's a shloka from Vishnu Purana, Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Divyasya Sashriya. There he says that Bhagavan is he who has 6 forms of opulence. Aishwarya, he's unlimitedly wealthy, he's renounced, he's beautiful, he's knowledgeable, he's detached. And this way, he has these 6 forms of opulence. Sri Hari is the supreme absolute truth. And there, even that Hari, when he is in his form of Aishwarya, he is Narayan. And when in his form as Madhurya, he is Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna descends with his dham. And this dham is perceived in 3 ways. Prakat, manifest. And then aprakat, which is the transcendental dham of Krishna when he appears along with all his associates. And there's Drishyaman, the dham we see with our present eyes. And then he says that Sri Hari is the supreme absolute truth. And he is the person who is actually the underlying basis of all the Vedas. All the Vedas actually they point only to him. If you see, the Vedas are sat-chit-ananda jnana, means they're self-manifest scriptures. The jivas, they depend on which form of jnana? They depend on indriya paratantra jnana. Their knowledge is completely subservient to the senses. But this is to be rejected. And sat-chit-ananda jnana is to be accepted. It's self-manifest knowledge. He is the Pratipadya Vishaya of all the Vedas. Third evidence, the material world is real, not the Mayavadis. They say the material world is false, but no. The material world is a manifestation of Krishna's Maya Shakti. Therefore it is real. Krishna's Maya Shakti is also real, so why not this material world also? It is also real, but temporary, in this way. And then he says the jivas, they are separate from Krishna. They are not to be considered one with Krishna at any cost. And even this bhed is of two types. There's vyavharik bhed and there's tattvic bhed. Vyavharik bhed means functional difference, but the origin is the same. Like a pot is different from a piece of cloth. This way there is functional difference, but the point of origin is the same. Both of them, they come from the earth, from the soil. And then there is tattvic bhed. Means even the point of origin is different and even the function is different. In this way, Sri Hari's and the Jivas, they have tattvic bhed. Means at no point can the Jiva become one with Sri Hari. So he says they're always separate in this way. And then he says there are two types of Jivas. The Jivas always serve Krishna. This is their natural dharma. And then he says even among the Jivas, they're liberated and conditioned. And then he says there's Achyadit-Chetan Jivas, consciousness is covered like the trees and stones. Sankuchit, Shankar consciousness, Mukulit, this blossoming consciousness. And even he says among the Mukulit Chetan, there are 6 types of Jivas. There are those who are uncivilized, and there are those who are civilized but who believe in material advancement. And then there are those who are atheistic but who believe in morality, like the Buddhists. And then there are the Karmavadis who believe in doing good. And then there are those who believe in God but don't practice pure devotional service. And then the Mayavadis. And then there are those who have Vikasit Jnana, blossoming consciousness, fully blossoming consciousness. And then in this way he says that real liberation means to achieve the lotus feet of Krishna. This is real liberation. And then he says that how can you achieve such real liberation? By pure devotional service. And then by such pure devotional service, liberation is automatically had. And then he gives the example that when you light a candle, light automatically comes. And what is the secondary effect? Darkness is dissipated. Similarly, the dissipation of darkness is temporary, but the lighting is permanent. So this dissipation of darkness is this nirvishesh jnana. That is temporary, it goes away. But pure bhakti arises. And then he says Sri Hari is known by 3 types of Brahman. There is Shabda Brahma, there is Pratyaksha and Hanuman. Hanuman is logical inference, and Pratyaksha is what you see by the eyes. And then there is Shabda Brahma. It is the revelations of the scriptures. So this way Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given everything in all these scriptures, and Gurudev has translated all these books. So much treasure there in all these books that he has given. Vaishnava Siddhanta Mala, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Siksha, Bhagavatarka Marishi Mala, Prem Pradeep, Jaiva Dharma, Rasik Ranjan Bhasham, Bhagavad Gita. So many books. Harinam Chintamani, this Shri Krishna Samhita. And Jaiva Dharma is his last book that he gave. So all his mercies are present in that book. So therefore, he's given such beautiful gems to the entire world. Therefore, all of us, we are so much indebted to this great Vaishnava. So much more can be said about him. But even Anantashesh, with his unlimited number of mouths, cannot glorify this Vaishnava. So therefore, I can only pray at his lotus feet that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his books, his devoted followers, they continue guiding us in our lives and make our lives successful. Panchaka Bhagavad-Desha, Kapasana Vajra, Kampa, Vyashva.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. First of all, I offer my Sastantam pranams unto the lotus feet of our most worshipful Sri Gurudev Nitya Leela Pradishta Om Vishnu Paraj Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Sri Guru Maharaj to our rupanuga Guru Varga and all Sangha Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So today, the auspicious appearance day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I know for all of us, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not someone like difficult to know. Like from anyone who just come to the mat, immediately the Guru Varga or Guru and Vaishnavas immediately, even they don't know the name, immediately they are following Bhaktivinoda Thakur teaching. Like when we come, then we're taught all these songs like for Arti, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Mangalarti, we're singing this song. Bogarty was singing songs, Borarti in the evening was singing songs, and all these bhajans were singing all these songs. So basically the devotees, even before they know like all details of Bhактивинода Thakur's life, by mercy of Guru and the Vaishnavas, were actually being shaped according to all the teachings and principles that Bhактивиноda Thakur has given. And therefore, he has been glorified as gaura-shakti Swarup. We pray, Namo Bhaktivinodaya sat-chit-ananda namane gaura-shakti Swarupaya rupanu. So he has been glorified. His Bhaktivinoda, his name Bhaktivinoda, he is sat-chit-ananda. Directly also we're telling sat-chit-ananda. We said, oh, Krishna is sat-chit-ananda, the personification of sat-chit-ananda. Also, he is very Shakti, sat-chit-ananda. And especially gaura-shakti, not just Krishna Shakti, gaura-shakti, there's speciality of gaura-shakti. Because this gaura-shakti is that Shakti that is like on the loose. Like Mahaprabhu, very merciful. It's like, if you read Madhur Kadambini, Vishnu Thakur, in the very first verse, is describing the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Like Nirankush, like this unbridled, like uncontrolled. It's like completely independent. You can go anywhere. So that's why Gurudev said, Mahaprabhu has given full autonomy to this Karuna Shakti. So they can go everywhere. So that is the nature of gaura-shakti, giving so much like mercy. It's like rain, like dropping without discrimination anywhere. And also in some places where they're like desert or like unfertile ground, also not only dropping rain there, but also making also the ground fertile. So because sometimes even if you have water but ground is fertile, then how the crops will grow. So Mahaprabhu's mercy, not only giving the rain, but also giving the seed and giving the nourishment and everything, then life coming. So this Swarup Shakti, and especially gaura-shakti, literally who is gaura-shakti? That is Gadadhar. So if we are, like we know, Gadadhar speaks in Puri, Mahaprabhu learning from him, Srimad Bhagavatam. All this moods of Srimati Radharani. Like now in this world, all these things is continued to be revealed. By whom? By the very Swarup of this Gadadhar or gaura-shakti, that is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In this way, we say he is not different. Because if Gadadhar Pandit is now with us, he will be revealing all these things. All these things revealed in his books. This is all the things that Gadadhar and specifically Srimati Radharani wants to be known, what Mahaprabhu wants to be known. Our Bhaktivinoda Thakur has not written, like, he's not inventing any new things. He is rupanuga bhalayate, he's foremost rupanuga. Therefore, we see everything that is written is actually in line to the teachings of Rupa Goswami. He did not invent anything. And he's writing only explaining and making everything like very easily understandable. All the teachings of our Goswami, especially the Rupa Goswami. And our Srila Gurudev, he has specifically pointed out that aside from his books, he has written more than 100 books. And not just Bengali also. Not just Sanskrit, even Urdu, or also English. So aside from his books, he has given to us the birthplace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, along with that birthplace of Mahaprabhu is the glories of Gaurdham, Gaurnam, Gaurkam, the disciples of Mahaprabhu. And not just that, he also has given to us his son, who is that personality who makes sure that people will be able to receive this gift, who will understand the glories of Mayapur, who is spreading the glories of Mayapur and making it so that now people will begin to do parikrama and follow and understand the real glories of Mahaprabhu, this line of Srila Rupa Goswami, the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today on his appearance day, we are praying to him And we actually not just pray to glorify Him, but actually pray to be able to accept. He's giving already everything to us. He's making it so that we don't need to, like all the books of the Goswamis, he packaged himself and simplified and nicely explained in a simple way so we can understand. So it's like making everything digestible for us, like very foolish jivas in this Kali Yuga. So our Bhактивinoda Thakur is so merciful, therefore we can pray that already His mercy is there, but we can have that also that desire to really accept His mercy and be a true recipient of His mercy.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. First off, I must go to places kind of slight work. Krishna gaura-shakti. Actually, I had to say, a question came up while you're speaking. If Bhактивinoda Thakur is gaura-shakti student, how can he also be rupanuga variety? It's like contradiction, but something, we don't speak so much about this, but how is it possible? In Krishna we speak how he takes the mood of Srimati Radhika, becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is a big thing, that Bhактивinoda Thakur is gaura-shakti. And if he's gaura-shakti, then how can he be rupanaga? This is like also taking another identity to be the follower of Rupa Goswami. I know Prabhuji knows that everything, but universally has to give some understanding. This is contradiction. It seems like maybe some contradiction. There could be two things. So, anyhow, so he also knows known as Sattan Goswami, the seventh Goswami, the quintessential Vaishnava. He also like Grihastha. So this is not like the Swamis weren't Grihasthas, but Bhaktivedanta Swami was Grihastha. And how they lived their lives. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was sadhana and bhajan. He was district magistrate. And so he very quickly rose and became a very powerful personality. And the British Raj, they saw him, this is not ordinary. He's like the Rupa and Sanatan, they also caught the attention of the Qazi and became engaged in the service of the Mohammedan regime. In the same way, Bhактивinoda Thakur, he was also caught the attention of the British, and he became engaged. And he was renowned for very quickly being able to solve many cases. You know, like now in the Indian court system, one problem, 20 years to resolve some land dispute. Then 20 years can go by and still no resolution. But this is not Bhактивinoda Thakur's standard. In many cases, he's making rulings, giving very quickly, more than 10, 20 times faster than anyone else. So he could, what do you say in English, cut to the chase, you get to the essence of the matter. But not only this materially, then also spiritually, he's also not, Srila Gurudev is saying that between midnight and 4 a.m. he's doing his bhajan. Now we can't sleep midnight, 1 o'clock, what doing? Not bhajan, not anything else. But Bhактивinoda Thakur, he's doing his bhajan all through the night. And doing studies and stutis and writing. And then after that, Gurudev said then he would write his cases, his decisions from his cases. So we also know if you don't do your sadhana, if you do your sadhana and all your material things very easily flow, you don't have to worry. Like Gurudev used to say, if you chant 64 ranks, Gurudev said in Australia one time, if you chant 64 ranks every day, Krishna will come and he will broom your house. How is it possible? Who has faith like this in Krishna and Krishna's name? Is he broom your house? No, he's not going to clean my room. No. The Giri Maharaj did 64 ranks of Krishna coming and sweeping. So he can tell us how he's the progress. But this Gurudev is saying, a big thing, that if you have this faith, so the famous case was there of Devashena Babaji, one Siddha Babaji. So he was pretending to be Krishna, to be incarnation. Funny, in the West, no one speaks so much pretending to be Krishna officially. But in India, everyone is incarnation. Very popular. This person, this praying man, he's also Siddha and manifestation, the Mahaprabhu, Kripalu, many, not just one or two, hundreds, thousands, all, and the regular people, the Hindus, he's Bhagavan, So this is a big problem in India. And so this one, Siddha Baba, Siddha Yogi, he had these mystic powers to do this Rasalila. And many people came under the power and spell of this Siddha Yogi, aristocratic daughters. They would come and they want to dance, do the Rasalila in the full moon night in Orissa. So, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wasn't deterred. He was given this case because of this big problem. All the fathers and parents, they're very concerned. This out of control Siddha Yogi. So anyway, he came there with many policemen. Even though this Baba had never met Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he knew by mystic power. He said, "Oh, I know you. You're this magistrate. You cannot defeat me." And so then basically Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, "Okay, I give you 7 days to retract your statements. In law, you have to give some time for them to respond." So generally 30 days. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, "I give you 7 days." Okay, he's counting everything down. 7 days to retract your statements that you are Krishna, that you are Bhagavan, you are ordinary citizen. If you don't pick this up, then we'll put you in jail. So anyhow, then he returns. He said, "No, I'm Siddha, I'm Krishna, I will not give up the program. My program will continue." And so then they returned 7 days later, and with the officers, and they went to arrest him. And then this Baba, this Siddha Baba, he had this city, and he shook his dreadlocks, and then fire came out. You can imagine the scene. So everyone was scared, like we hear stories like in Bengal of these tantrics. They're very powerful. They can turn you into a goat, with their mantras. You have to be careful. You're upset at Bengali. Bengali magic man. How is their power? So anyway, they can, by their mantras, they can catch you and change you into a goat and keep you in their house. So anyway, it's not an ordinary thing. This is actually, so everyone's scared. We're protected here with the Vaishnavas, so we don't see these things, but we've heard some of these stories. So we're lucky to be under safe guidance, Guru Guard. They're protecting us from all these things, for sure. Guaranteed. The Brahma Raksha goes, everything is going on. But here in Radhikunj, protected area, restricted area. So this is the same for Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The policemen and enforcers, they became scared. They put down their guns and they wouldn't arrest him and they ran away. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was left by himself. And he wrestled with that Siddha and cut off his matted locks, his dreadlocks. And arrested him. They had no fear. And they put him into jail for a trial. But then in the nighttime, Bhaktivinoda Thakur clearly explains he had this incredible pain in his wife. His wife was saying, "Why are you disturbing this Baba, this yogi, Siddha Yogi? Now you might die." He said, "No, there's nothing. He said his power is insignificant to Krishna's needs. So when it came to the court the next day, then the Baba said, hey, you do not forget the pain I caused you last night. He said, this is nothing. And they basically threw him and said, if you don't, I give you a last chance. You recant, you give up your claim that you are Krishna, or you go to jail for 6 months. Hard labor. So he was very proud to show many people they're very proud they can't come to Krishna. His main block for coming to Krishna is pride. I am doer, I am controller, I am businessman. This so much I have. Those divine and demoniac qualities. So this pride is big stumbling block. So for this Baba, he considered yogi, he refused, so then they threw him into jail. And then he fasted to death. He refused to do the hard labor, and he fasted. So this is the efficiency of Bhактивинода Thakur. They ruled the strong. And Gurudev is saying that actually this is the power of Krishna Nam. That if one has strong sadhana bhajan, this Krishna Shakti, Nam Namakari Mahaga, Nija Sarva Shaktis, the Tabi Tabi Namaka Smart and the Kala. Krishna name very powerful. Gurudev said, like this Harinama Tua Anitasarupa, this song by Bhактивинода Thakur, he's saying this Sunanam, you're chanting all Krishna's Leelas, all pastimes, all is contained. Gurudev said even Leelas that are not in Srimad Bhagavatam are containing Krishna Nam. So how do you understand that? The Vaishnavas there seeing all that Leelas. So one other pastime was there that when he was also positioned, he served in many areas, also even in Vrindavan. Oh, we should also mention, when he was put in charge of the some of the administration in Jagannath Puri Mandir. I read this, I maybe forgot, but Bhактивиноda Thakur was, they tried to bribe him, one group tried to bribe him 3 lakh rupees to put a dog, a murti of a dog on top of Jagannath Mandir. I forgot this one. Good. Imagine, Gurudev said, who wants to put a dog there? It was the Mayavadis. That there's no difference between Jagannath Baladev Subhadra and dog. Like we say, Darji Narayan, no, poor Narayan, this poor homeless person, he's also, everything is Narayan, you're Narayan, I'm Narayan, everything is Narayan. So they wanted to give 3 lakh, how much is 3 lakh in those days? Not 3 lakh, not so much, but in the time of Bhактивинода Thakur, crores and crores, no? But he wouldn't succumb to the, so he was he also helped very nicely manage the Jagannath Mandir, and also he preached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. But then also this famous pastime of his time, even in Vrindavan, he would come to Suryakund, he would meet the Jagannath Das Prabhuji Maharaj. And there Gurudev explains Jagannath Prabhuji's Maharaj's eyes hid over his head was all these folds of skin. So because he had no connection with this world, his eyes were like closed to this world, then he gave time. But so he would often take darshan of Jagannath Das Prabhuji Maharaj. But his disciples who were in Suryakund, which is a place of Siddhadev, they complained to Bhактивинода Thakur, oh, we came here for our Siddhadev, we came here, we gave up our wives and everything to gain our Siddhadev, but Babaji Maharaj is making us grow eggplant and flowers. So we said, we didn't come for this, maybe we should go home. But Bhактивиноda Thakur said no. He said, how you meditate on the Astikala Lila? He said, you can't chant Sudanam. Your Nam, you're full of anarthas. If you try and meditate on the Astikala Lila with anarthas, then you'll just fall down. You'll only think of women and this and that. So better you serve Guru. You follow the order of Guru. If he's saying grow eggplant, then you grow eggplant. So also we heard from the Vaishnava, what is the power of your 64 rounds of Nama Paraj? Gurudev said if you chant 64 rounds, maybe one name will be Nama Bas. Can you imagine? Hard enough to chant 64 rounds, but all is Nama Paraj, maybe one name is Nama Bas. Still very powerful to get the fruit of one Nama Bas. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur said you can, and Gurudev was explaining, you can chant for thousands of lifetimes in your bhajan, but with an artist you won't get any benefit. But if you follow the orders of Sri Guru, you grow your eggplant, you grow your vegetables, and you offer that to Sudha Vaishnavas, you offer that to Thakurji, then you become purified, and gradually everything will become wonderful. And Srila Gurudev said, just like in the Radha Kund now, the Babajis, for 2 rupees you can get your Siddha there. We've heard from some devotees that they go to Radha Kund, so hippies or anyone, they go to Radha Kund, they try and get their Siddha there, and the Baba will sit there with his eyes closed and pretend to like go in his trance, and he will go, ha 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 ha, like he's in Krishna Lila, no? And he's laughing and then you are so and so, Mandri, you're Lalita, you're Vishaka, this is your dress, for just a few rupees. But even can't fix their mind for 16 rounds. So Gurudev also saying this, 16 rounds not enough. Bhaktivinoda Thakur set the standard. Even his grihasta, his bhajan, 10% 24 hours a day, like Prabhuji was saying. You every day, how much sadhana I did, how much seva I did for Krishna. So I have a life hack. One life hack is there. When you list all the things you did, you just say them twice, and it feels like you did twice as much. But isn't the idea that you, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was 24 hours, never give up, did his material so-called obligation, and at the same time his sadhana was unparalleled. Therefore he's Satama Goswami. So I'm hoping we get some answer from this gaura-shakti Swarup and rupanuga that will understand this. We pray to Bhaktivinoda Thakur that the essence of his teachings will manifest in our hearts, and by the power of his bhajan he can deliver us from repeated birth and death.
महाराज की जय, परंपरा की जय, अनंतम कृष्ण की जय, सपाश गोविंद की जय, गोविंदानंद की जय, जगन्नाथपति सुजात कृष्ण की जय, भक्तविन्यास कृष्ण की जय, भक्तराज महाराज की जय, सकल विद्या की जय, विद्या की जय, हनुमान धाम की जय, विलासी मुक्त की जय, जय श्री श्रीमद रानी की जय, सर्वजन की जय, जय नमो सच्चिदानंद सच्चिदानंद soul is beautiful part of our soul. Soul is eternal. Your soul is eternal. So Krishna is Sacchidananda. Prabhupada was God Brahma, small Brahma. This is understanding now answer. This is not very what to say. This word childhood to all are taken daily. Mahamaya, the person Bharata. How am I doing? I can play with me. Maya, Mahamaya. Then see between all differently. Then when you go back, then what you do in jail. Then this very honestly working, telling everything true. But saying they are me and requesting, please you are happy with me, but you want must do it. Or your daughter must do it like that. I can see it. Also after he asking Jalanmaya, please you are happy with me, then you will give me nice water and nice food. He is in jail, prison. Now he is in prison. He has nothing heaven. Everything. So playing this world with the own Karma Jiva in jail inside. Mind is, Buddha is, Purva, Kill and Hope. In jail. Now all prison. Karma, all food. Product, everything now there is somebody from the right asking Mayadevi, please lend me relief. And happy, I will be very happy. Also I will give you permanent residence. This Maya Vasana, they are everywhere with Durga Kalimani, Bhairavi, Madhavi, Maniswarup, was teaching us everywhere. Our Majesty now in jail, our life, everything is good for Prabhupada and Father. They are married in was sitting and praying. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a what is this Bhakti Yoga? This Arupsiddha, Yakarumisya, Samasiddha, Yakarumisya. This is name of Bhakti, not Shuddha Bhakti, this is Vida Bhakti. This Bhakti is, you cannot proceed with Maya, no understanding. Soul goes to anything. Temporarily you are in this world, it's a prison, and a lot of punishment, all time torture. This is also not also they have to get in hell. Shuddha Bhakti is how necessarily are calling Shuddha Bhakti. Bhakti personal Bhava Nandiyakti. This man is toward any prejudice and people and feelings anything. To be detached. No need. This everything is prejudice and knowledge. Also, never desire also increasing. So, following Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Yoga you following Shuddha Bhakti and follow desire, then our understanding sat-chit-ananda namini sat-chit-ananda sat-sandhini ya sat-surup Bhakti-Prabhu Chit-Bhar Discussion Devata Chit-Surup Sangit Gyan Surup Krishna Ananda Sandhini Kriyasakti for your service for with them getting the relations. He is only first personality in this world. All Jivas is not giving message. Reality, following God, upload this, giving this, sat-chit-ananda. Sasur Bhakti will follow Guru, follow you. Could become Sadhu Guru Vaishnava Linya. These are God's kingdom. Krishna, these are incarnation expressions in the past. To come, understood the Vishwajala and Radha. Therefore, he is worship. He is feeling the sat-chit-ananda Sarup, sat-chit-ananda Moita. Ananda Chinmay Avasya. Bhakti Bhavit Avi Sthapit Jeva Nija Rupa Jaya Karari. So this Maya Sarup began in place and uniform structure. All are there. This is not material gift I have. But this is also temporary. These are not. Give me ask. This sat-chit-ananda, Mata, Janata, all that. This Maya, this world, and everywhere going, then giving instruction. How can lot of country mind? Big building, big farmhouse, landlord, big family, everything for giving instruction, things like this. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying it is different. Also, this Shakti, avoided gaura-shakti, is Mahaprabhu's Shakti. Meaning, Mahaprabhu is alone, but he is Namavatar, Brahmavatar. Bhaktivinoda Thakur inviting, calling Babaji, Maharaj, Buddha, Jaina, Parsi, Yehudi, Hindu, Isai, Christian, Muslim, everything. Never doing anybody's God, caste and religion. This before 100 years before he is doing announcement. this gaura-shakti going everywhere and spreading. Everyone is here doing this message. You are not his body, you are not his mind. You are soul and body also. But you have no strength. Therefore, he is collecting this with ball. This is necessary. Namatma Balahinan Lodha. Paramatma is soul, following God, and it is not of strength. Paramatma. Atma, Paramatma, both. Following God need is lot of strength, lot of energy. Ordinary tomorrow, both days. So telling one day 8 hours you working, 10 hours you are 12 hours. So you are sitting on Himalaya, sitting in air. I use footstep, I use floor, I use room, I use maintenance, everything you would be. No cheaper. The Bhaktivinoda who passes is arranging gaura-shakti, maya-shakti, gaura-shakti. You cannot follow this, practicing in life. Pure Bhakti. Therefore, he is arranging fast is this short, only sort college and football. Giving. After he is giving pure knowledge with Parvati Devi, with soul followers, with pure soul followers, with so-called who is entity. What is right, what is wrong? There is keep care. He is distributing, he was giving. Also, this Vyasa, Ananda Swami, Arjuna Swami, Swadharana. Without our mercy, not to be active. You are doing many things, not for God, for ordinary. Like many people very happy. Oh, giving charity. Take care. This children, many persons, by milk, food stuff, the monkeys, dog, cat, they take care, serving. But they are not serving God, God person. Sitting is useless. And take care of this organ person. You understand me? Curiosity, there is now misusing and going down mind. And after what comes the result through? Punishment of too much. Hormoni awan manam dukha pechkar. Mituni chardam nam mitupako utpati. Karma. Try more and more. After not possible, they have to and come out. Like to life and rest is also. So, Bhaktivinoda fasting is sat-chit-ananda swarupini. It gives me sat-chit-ananda, my God. After telling gaura-shakti swarupaya, without gaura-shakti, matu-shakti, namata pramutta, not possible. You have no shakti, no power. No energy, no taste, no breath, that is not going to do anything. Where no other fire, no last fire, that zero is not doing anything. Not anything, they can do anything. Thirsty and thirsty to work, they are not working. They are still only, but how will we free? This gaura-shakti is therefore. Then, where is sending God? After sending Bhaktivinoda, where? Swarupasambhava. Most of Goswami. The Goswami is Prasad Karya. These may are not coming, what Joras, what is Apatika Bhakti Rasa, Ananda Chikha Rasa, Going in ordinary people near the teaching, one person named Professor Thakur. You are all young boys making contact. They are not wasting his fire also, dollar also. But how can they realize this? How can they realize it? That is wasting and realization coming, taste coming when after thinking about this Bhakti. Vasi Prakito and then Bhakti. You know how realization to be introduced? They not God creating this world is lots of harvest, lots of distribution for listening for everything. But you are stop and you ban, not good. Prabhupada will say, why is rupanu? Everybody sending rupanu to Prabhu's is Rasamai, Vrindavan, or Prasik, or Acharya, near. Nowadays all are going here and there running. After missing like Nityananda sending, Goswami, Mahaprabhu sending, Raghunath Bhatta, or Bhatta, Rupanu sending. Why is Rupanu Bhayati? Why is most of this Rupanu? Why? He is doing something, force, greed, taste, strength, energy. After being qualified and then sending. Go, not others too. Bhakti Rasa, Mahaprabhu giving Rupanu. Giving others, but the same Mahaprabhu and giving one drop of Bhakti Rasa. After he is sending everybody Rupanu. This Rupanuga, Raganuga, Rupanuga or Raganuga, but all Raganuga not Rupanuga. Rupanuga, Raganuga and Ragapni. Ragapni and Raganuga all not Rupanuga. Goswami wants to say, he is Rupamanjali and the guidance of Rupamanjali, understanding, realizing and practicing his life through sadhana, on the river of sadhana. This is not Samugati Swami, Dr. Swami. No Kamatika, Samugatika, Parimatika. Love, pure love, there is no condition. Condition when you love. After condition then finish. But not will be permanent and forever. Continue. Therefore, this Brahmatika, Ragatika Bhakti, this Mundari of sadhana, this is unconditional, unparalleled, also this is forever continue, not possible. Spotless. Not break out. Bhaktivinoda therefore first is collecting this all jivas for this sat-chit-ananda. After Gaursukti, then sending this to Mundari Krishna. Therefore, training. Priya Swarupe, Dvaita Swarupe. Prema Swarupe, Sajavi Rupe. Nityananda Rupe, Savilas Rupe. Bhaktan Rupe, Savilas Rupe. Anyhow, there is this Goswami glory. Also, praying Avtanas, Kiran, Bhaktarism, Jati, Punapunam. Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Germany. So these Rupanu Bhayate, Bhaktivinoda wanting anybody, sending to Goswami itself. Never negative. Also, Bhaktivinoda preaching time, कोई विलेज to village for me, Kerala, Mayavadi, Bhavati, Mataji, Saudya, all. All are giving chance. You are hating anybody. No. Evening class, working with Satasan is now the generation of Somali Kultur. Satsan non. Satsan are Swami and the Ashram. There is evening class. All Jagannath outside, everywhere becoming this class. All are speaking. One Babaji praying, yes, Atma, is very nice. He says, he said, forward, don't go this class, don't hurry. He is only teacher. He has no negativity, he has no tilak, he has no Brahmin trade, he is not following anything for me, only his state. This is class for 900 sitting for, don't go. What is it? Not very. Babaji is near nothing, but they will be going, hiding in good class. Then one day, someone asked me, oh, Thakur, you not wearing any necklace, why? Then what can I do? Now, Mahaprabhu is coming to Jagannath, not give me any tourist. He gave me the music. When he gave me a noon, then he is telling his classes, Acharya Ramanu Sampradaya, they are not wearing tourist. This is not my Bhagavad. It is only criticism about tourist. How can I am wearing? I am enjoying my tourist and God. Also this tulsi, I am bathing and washing this tulsi, water is going to be. I am going to toilet, I am going to many other places. Then how tulsi everything. After life, the chilling people, and the children, but what do I see telling? Guru Maharaj, Mahaprabhu Nityananda, Jagannath, give me Maharaj, what is Babaji, the marriage is there. This classes after, they are taking one Gabra, starting all play, doing and then we Gabra do this, we clean this place. After they are doing all Babaji, why going there, why hiding there, this and that. Too much. After he is going his room, Jagannath, class, night time, diarrhea, vomiting, fever, and he is vomiting and passing school, and he is vomiting on top. One, fly, mosquito, and he is there in water. Not mosquito is calling anybody. Other Babaji are came and looking at each position. So, now, they are going to kill Babaji. Oh, they are taking many of them. Please forgive me. Disappointment. Bhaktivinoda came. And then yoga was cleaning and taking out. They bring Jagannath Saranamrita. Giving him, one by the medicine, order everything, giving medicine. After it's slow, getting it. That thing, they are going to they are trying and praying. Why many of this world near Jagannath is kicking and beating and giving lot of punishment. I am not understanding. I am looking outside. Then Bhaktivinoda will say, oh, this is going to be very often for me. Okay. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so the evening habits I am wearing So Baba, not possible, I tell you. You are my guru, you are my everything. I know God will not tell you are Jagannath guarantee. Jagannath is something to seva. All in all, I am police and ignorance and all Baba is near, everywhere is repository. Please, before Israel ke Jagannath, then all Babaji are, all Scholar, all Panda, everybody is addressing him Bhakti, you know. Why? He is giving pure Shuddha Bhakti. Not Paramesa, Dharmisa, Amsita, Sushita, no, other non-Christians. Every other cheater cheating, speaking something and practicing something. But he is speaking and it is habit. Also, how can realizing then everybody, they are realizing everybody's good. 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 There he started fastly the Ekadashi of Jagannath temple, Tirunagari Pandap temple. And Lakshmi Devi temple behind this. That is his temple. There everybody go see sometimes horse, sometimes camel, or then sun. Then Bhakti Thakur, one side Bhakti Mandap, and this is Bhakti Mandap. The every day there is doing class in Bhagavad. And he comes to glory off. Then what happened? All changed. And also temple inside, not possible, anybody killing his enemy. No blood flow. No more peace. Complete is evolution, Mahabud, line is changing. Government looking, no more disturbance. Open time, Jagannath temple, no many problems disturbance. Everybody very peaceful, silence and starving, politely, cleaning, everybody. No more question. No more competition. Post for function for Shiva for sometimes Mongarati no. Mongarati oh 9 o'clock 10 o'clock. Sometimes evening Mongarati evening Arati night time midnight. Bhakti Thakur all very fixed time to time. All things. Shiva. On this book of God, government is rules. Baba Prasad coming and he is giving charity. Poor people work, coming work, everybody's work. But not business. Time to time when landlord, communicating, they starting this business. But Bhakti Thakur is going on. Say Mahaprasad, everybody will listen as much as what is selling? Not selling. Not giving everybody Krishna. Make everybody Prasad. Giving everybody. Many days. And Krishna every day. And there, what happened then? All are poor people taking Prasad, giving, arranging. And we are is affecting choir in Rotula. This is the Rostoti 8 landlord. Yes, that is to attend well. Yes, people also inviting Krishna Bhakta. Please, the Ramsa Center. His daughter is getting married. After what happened? Landlord, but with late down, all various things. Looking at the mother, who is taking, and his one is Parasar, nearby Parasar, Odrak, that way. Childhood Bhaktivinoda Thakur is there. Uncle House. That we learn. What is coming there? The Gada is this, that a British man. This women's college. Delhi. Hospital. There too we come Krishna. There Krishna too is after next one is that is very qualified. He is giving everywhere classes. In school, cleared after teachers are asking. These are asking. You will answer. Sometimes British government through Shiksha Parishad, officers are coming. They giving class. Then they invite calling faculty. Assembly writers in many places. He is giving class, then what they claiming? This person is bilingual. His big knowledge, he is all stealing Bible too and he is speaking. They are giving his name Bible too. Big announcement. He said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Bible has this much. But after I am speaking anything, I am challenging to show me this or forgiveness. Anyhow, he is starting their lectures after starting medicine. English. How many languages? English, Maratha, Maithili, Sanskrit, Hindi, Odia, Bengali. 18 languages you know. And 18 languages you see all articles, books, magazines, and newspaper, everywhere is given. And all coming all time. Thakur, now this program, what is reality? Writing. Government after is any problems created in India, government is asking. Now he is like a legal advisor. Also, if he is duty, after he is going classes, many places, after he is coming and writing, he is changing, opportunities. Therefore, Delhi board should require. Also, is anybody is very advanced after dinner people in one pocket. It can be 2% class, rupanuga class. It all disabled existence in all go develop sadhya. Vocational sadhya to sannyas. And his jnana is staying. He is teaching everything. But he has other son also, mental child. He is also going to center Prabhuna's from Bhaktivinoda Thakur not allowed. Not sending there. They know. One son named Kamala Prasad. One Vimala Prasad. One Dalta Prasad. Another one is separates already. They Raman Sampradaya is coming. He appears and after some time this Bhaktivinoda Thakur Bhagavad Gita praying. Oh, I am before Raman Sampradaya Acharya. But I use a golden Guru. Raman Sampradaya. Please, if you have this great wisdom, please hear that what he was in bit and give his ornament and then his ornament, then I get yours. Then they doing and doing all bodies come around the killer and he is forgiveness for praying and he is doing. The Bhaktivinoda Thakur near is nobody denied. No negative. No these people on karma. I will create down. Clear. Anybody giving smash, chastisement, punishment, they give it right. No Shakti. How they can this crossing mind that way they come. arranging this arrangement. Before many are going to come, but they not arranging. Like look, all are for backward. Nice come, teacher is giving, nice teaching, every day all are calling, doing Namsakirtanam, doing dance, and nice, all are taking managing, God causing us, Guru causing us, and nobody, nothing else. Don't know like Velas, oh, my is probably, what, everybody's going to do. After, he's saying, only 100 years after, he's spreading over what everywhere. You go to a Bible of liberty, then you are understanding how much is giving portion and silence. All time busy. How many Dhamma Samaj? We are many Arti Samaj. Many society. All coming is near. It's messing, debating, no. It's giving answer and changing all. No arguing alone. All are moving. And all of them following. So this is the reason of starting. We go to the line for focus to what saying. Anybody will be sannyas? They are not saying. Bhakti Mara. Bhakti Vrindan, Bhakti Vidas, Bhakti Vidas, this Bhakti Bhagwan, all the Bhakti Mara, Bhakti is this property. So all lucky, but I do have this Thakur, attached and disappeared. That is a big program. Not small. Not one day, 2-3 days program. Everywhere. Dividing everyone. And he is doing that. Sometimes people will ask me, oh, Bhakti Thakur allow this all musical programs, this drama, theatre, proper, why don't you allow? Any person, like C.C. Ghosh, the part of actor, many aspects. Bhakti Thakur, why is allowed? Please, everybody is calling, doing chances. They are coming for Bhakti Thakur, doing Bhakti. Bhakti was somewhat predictable. To be clean and pure. I am not allowed, then you would thinking, Guru allow this, yes, I am already allowed, it is more than. Therefore, more than higher, other drama, other theatre, other that things we can connect and they will be that spiritual world. No is mundane Maya. So Thakur is anyone doing, but the area that Baba is looking, and the all air is there is good smell, all change, and pollution peace. After one day, the people like this. Everywhere is not cleaning only. Flower, smell is like nice. And he is area. Same is opening now. Regarding therefore, no they are going to Manitaram Namajan. Pratya Sinamoto Jivaraka. Okay, Sadavan Dhamai, Sadavan. He says, God Sugar Cover Guy, Surubi Kundite, Name Hakulete, Kodite. Oh, I am there, Nitananda. Come is see. He says, where we get it in the Nasrama. No need Krishna, Abra, Namrat, Namrat, but gold takes. Then you know Namaprasana. Tidak cuma boleh nanti malu. Kamu jalan lagi. This how much have you people? This is thinking then about what people have. Every year, say first day they are going to do this, going back. That's not what it is. They go and go to it will back to the most of that program. You see, Bhaktivinoda will not come this world. This world has nobody kind. That's what result. All is wanting things or thinking and pushing. And by force, giving this knowledge, loss, all of that. But Jesus, nobody is no master. It is not this being in this world. So how is health is possible? Jiva has no any sukhiti and no any goodness. What is possible thinking? What's kind? Look, many persons might be writing songs, many things, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs, over what anywhere going, all language you think that's it. That's it. Many words are meaning other speakers. Many songs, English song, Portugal song, Brazilian song, Mexican song, Arabian song, our country of China song, only song, going, high. Some place. Arabian songs, but Bhaktivinoda house is Radha Madhava Punya Vihari. After Bhaktivinoda Nandana very slow, all every dancing and other songs singing that drinking after possible dancing. But the song singing for no maybe drink. The song has drinks, not wine, wine. All are doing wine, but people are doing wine, sort of wine. Singing and dancing non-stop. Therefore, this Mahaprabhu, how is merciful, how is it bringing low to Mahaprabhu's Shakti. Therefore, the Guru Prabhu is saying, Vada Putra Mukana Pujavi. Bhava Guru Vadana Bhakti. In Guru Vadana Peri Kala. This much helpful for us. So this means for our country. Very well, now also, this flow is family. This flow of Ganga, Bhagavati Ganga, is flow. Bhakti Yogi, all everywhere. Everybody singing this Radha Madhava, they cannot control themselves. They dance. They are shooting on the Nava. They go, somebody is not writing, they will not know. Somebody was saying something, they will not know. But Bhaktivinoda will not say that they will not know. All time, Nanda, other is Bhaktivinoda. This is his society. Now is that you have tomorrow, there is Thakur, is a breath. How is Bhagavad Thakur and Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu therefore is not given. How is arranging? That is continuing. Mahaprabhu having before. But everything, how is strange? What whether it's tomorrow, then it is for Bhagavan